Prakash Singh Badal, former Deputy Chief Minister Sukhbir Singh Badal, then the Home Minister Bhuta Singh, and the former President Gyani Jayal Singh. So there has been number of cases in which they were found guilty. That is Tankhaiya. They were counted from the Akal Takht, which is a religious misconduct, and guilty from the Akal Takht. So today he was summoned and he has answered all the questions to the Jathedar. Apart from that, one thing more. After that, a statement was being released by the Jathedar also, in which he has said that the 5-6 now will take the decision and the video would also be given to the forensic team. Back to the studio.
Many thanks, Lalit, for joining us with those details coming in on that story. And let's take a quick check of the other news coming in from across the country. This is Bharat in a minute. The anti-terror operation continues in Kathua for the second consecutive day. The operation was launched by Jammu Kashmir Police just after 2 suspected terrorists were spotted by residents. Indian Army has also deployed its special forces as part of the operation. And DIG JKS Shiv Kumar Sharma also visited the site last night. There was a clash reported from Purana Pul in Old City of Hyderabad, allegedly due to the desecration of a temple, and flexes and decoratives were torn down, and an attempt was made to vandalize a temple, which led to a clash between the Hindu and Muslim communities. Police reached the site immediately to disperse the crowds who were raising slogans and pelting stones, and even tried to vandalize dargahs. They were trying to vandalize, and the police said that everything is under control and they are on alert. There has been a late-night encounter between the North District Anti-Narcotics Team and criminals in Delhi. 2 of the shooters, identified as Deepak and Neil, arrested, were associated with the Lawrence Bishnoi gang, and they were involved in the firing incidents in Paschim Vihar and West Vinod Nagar as well. Okay, viewers, now we shift our focus to the 78th Army Day Parade. At the parade, Chief of the Army Staff, General Upendra Dwivedi, today addressed the media and said that the Indian Army is steadily evolving into a future-ready force with empowered soldiers. Take a look.
मैं आपके माध्यम से भारतीय सेना के सभी सैनिकों, हमारे सिविलियन कर्मचारियों, वेटरन्स, वीर नारियों और उनके परिवारजनों को हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। इस पावन अवसर पर हम उन वीर सैनिकों को श्रद्धापूर्वक नमन करते हैं जिन्होंने देश की सेवा में सर्वोच्च बलिदान दिया। मैं राजस्थान सरकार और खासकर जयपुर के नागरिकों को तहे दिल से धन्यवाद देता हूं। आज बड़ी संख्या में नागरिकों की उपस्थिति यह दर्शाती है कि सेना और जनता के बीच कितना गहरा संबंध है। आपका उत्साह और समर्थन हर सैनिक का मनोबल बढ़ाता है। जयपुर में सेना दिवस का आयोजन सेना को नागरिकों के और करीब लाने का प्रयास है। परेड के अलावा नो योर आर्मी मेला जैसे कार्यक्रमों ने इस संबंध को और मजबूत किया। आज शाम शौर्य संध्या में ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान सेना के साहस, अनुशासन और क्षमता का प्रदर्शन किया जाएगा। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ने एक नया नॉर्मल स्थापित किया है। इस ऑपरेशन ने भारतीय सेना की तेज प्रतिक्रिया, बेहतर समन्वय और सटीक कार्यवाही की क्षमता का दर्शाया है। यह एक परिपक्व, आत्मविश्वासी और जिम्मेदार बल की तस्वीर प्रस्तुत करता है, जो राष्ट्रीय हितों की रक्षा के लिए पूरी तरह सक्षम है। पिछले कुछ वर्षों में भारतीय सेना की सोच में एक स्पष्ट बदलाव आया। हम केवल वर्तमान चुनौतियों पर ही नहीं, बल्कि भविष्यों के युद्धों की तैयारी में भी गंभीरता से काम कर रहे हैं। इसी दिशा में नई संरचनाएं यानी नए स्ट्रक्चर्स बनाए जा रहे हैं, जिन्हें भविष्य की आवश्यकताओं के अनुसार इक्विप और ट्रेन किया जा रहा है।
And for the first time, viewers, the Army Day parade moved out of a cantonment and onto open city streets. Jaipur turned into a battlefield showcase this time with BrahMos missiles, tanks, drones, robot dogs and Apache helicopters on display. And the first public appearance of the new Bhairav Battalion. They make their debut this parade, and this day also carried deep emotion as heroes of Operation Sindoor were honored and with their gallantry medals being awarded to the martyrs as well. Here's more.
January 15, India's Army Day, commemorating the day India took command of its own army in 1949. This year it is historic. For the first time ever, the Army Day parade is being held outside a military cantonment on public city roads.
आर्मी डे की आप सबको हार्दिक बधाई। मैं आपके माध्यम से भारतीय सेना के सभी सैनिकों, हमारे सिविलियन कर्मचारियों, वेटरन्स, वीर नारियों और उनके परिवारजनों को हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। जयपुर में सेना दिवस का आयोजन सेना को नागरिकों के और करीब लाने का प्रयास है। परेड के अलावा नो योर आर्मी मेला जैसे कार्यक्रमों ने इस संबंध को और मजबूत किया। आज शाम शौर्य संध्या में ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान सेना के साहस, अनुशासन और क्षमता का प्रदर्शन किया जाएगा।
Jaipur hosts the parade on Mahal Road, Jagatpura. Thousands line the streets to witness history. A 3-kilometer parade route, over 1.5 lakh spectators in attendance. Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi and CDS General Anil Chauhan lead the ceremony. The parade is led by Gallantry Award winners Ashok Chakra, Paramveer Chakra and Mahavir Chakra recipients. Valor leads the march, pride leads the parade. First public appearance of the newly raised Bhairav Battalion. Positioned between Para-Special Forces and Infantry, the Bhairav Battalion is built for quick, precise, offensive operations in modern warfare. Garhwal Scouts, Sikkim Scouts and Arunachal Scouts march past in full battle gear. The all-girls NCC contingent steals the spotlight, showcasing India's youth power. BrahMos missile system on public roads, India's supersonic strike capability on display. Pinaka rocket launcher follows, symbol of India's long-range firepower. Eyes shift to the sky. Apache attack helicopters perform aggressive maneuvers overhead, a demonstration of air dominance and combat readiness. Robot dogs lead the column, signaling the arrival of robotics in modern warfare. Combat drones displayed, highlighting India's growing drone warfare capability. The Integrated Drone Detection and Interdiction System IDDIS, capable of soft kill and hard kill of aerial threats. A glimpse of future warfare, smart, fast and technology driven. Advanced towed artillery gun system and M777 ultralight howitzer on display. Akash Tir air defense system showcased, battle proven during Operation Sindoor. Jaipur turns into a sea of tricolors. Patriotism fills the streets. Infantry, paratroopers, mechanized units, a complete picture of India's army. Not just a parade, but a statement of strength, sacrifice and self-reliance. From Jaipur streets, India sends a powerful message to the world. The Indian Army stands ready. The nation stands proud.
And in a major setback for Vijay's much-anticipated film Jananayagan, the Supreme Court has now refused to entertain the producer's plea, clearly stating that the matter is before the Madras High Court, which will hear the plea on the 20th of January. Here are details of that.
In a major setback for Thalapathy Vijay's Jananayagan, the Supreme Court has refused to grant any relief to the filmmakers. Refusing to entertain the matter, the top court stated that the issue is already scheduled to be heard by the High Court on January 20th. However, to prevent any further delay, it directed that an order be passed on the same day. The order came in response to a petition filed against the move to issue an A certificate to the film. The makers were hoping to obtain CBFC clearance and move ahead with the film's release. The film was initially slated for release on January 9th. However, the CBFC held back the certification following a complaint received by the chairman. At the center of the controversy are concerns that the film could hurt religious sentiments and portray the armed forces in a negative light. As the certification roadblock continues, so does the politics surrounding Vijay's highly anticipated action thriller. This is Vijay's last film before he enters politics full-time. He has stated that voters deserve nothing less than his complete commitment. And it is against this unforgiving backdrop that Jananayagan arrives. With assembly elections due in Tamil Nadu, Vijay's TVK has emerged as the third major regional player. The DMK and Congress allege that the delay is part of a large attempt to arm twist the megastar into joining political alliances. But as alliance dynamics remain uncertain in the state, so does the fate of the 500 crore film, which will now be decided on January 20th.
And communal tension erupted in Hyderabad's historic old city area at the Purana Pul late Wednesday night, just ahead of Sankranti celebrations. Here's what happened and how the situation has unfolded.
Torn up decorations, attempts to vandalize Purana Pul temple. This is what triggered the communal clashes in Hyderabad's old city in Purana Pul. Right ahead of Sankranti celebrations, at 11:30 p.m. on Wednesday night, the unrest began. Desecration attempt at temple was followed by counteractions to target a dargah. Stones were pelted, leaving several injured. Motorcycle was set on fire. With situation escalating, the police had to step in. Acting swiftly, the police intervened and dispersed the crowd.
We are currently standing at the temple in Puranpul in Hyderabad, where communal clashes were reported yesterday night, late at night and early, which lasted up to early in the morning, where police had to intervene, and then there was stone pelting and very communal which escalated very largely here. After which the police had to intervene. We are currently still seeing that the people have gathered here. The Hindu community have gathered inside the temple and are protesting against the vandalism of temple. They are claiming that during the festivity celebrations at Sankranti, which is here, the Hindu temples were deliberately vandalized and the decorations were deliberately vandalized, and this is something that is not acceptable. The repeated targets on Hindu temples here is something that is not acceptable, and the government should react immediately and protect the religious places of worship here.
Legal wheels are moving rapidly. A case has been registered by the Hyderabad police at Kamatipura police station. Forces remain on high alert.
And viewers, Niva Bupa Health Insurance has come on board as our studio partner. And Niva Bupa Health Insurance is trusted by over 2.7 crore Indians. It offers India's first truly unlimited health insurance plan with no limit on coverage.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है। प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. They won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So, I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello viewers, you're watching 6 Stories at 6. A very good evening. I'm Shivangi Shukla. Let's see what's making news today. Big setback for CM Mamta. Supreme Court has paused the FIRs registered against ED officials in connection with the IPAC raids. And Air India plane crash probe updates are coming in. Pilot's body slams summons to Captain Sumit Sabarwal's relative. Situation is worsening in Iran. Families of Indian seafarers detained in Iran have made a desperate appeal for evacuation. When we talk about Iran, US President Trump has said that Iran has halted killings and executions, holding off strikes after assurances.
Maharashtra votes and civic body polls, high-stakes battle in Mumbai and Pune. 1,700 candidates are vying for 227 seats in the BMC polls. And finally, the 78th Army Day Parade held in Jaipur, drawing huge crowds as the Indian Army showcased modern weapons, new units and military strength. So let's start off with the top story coming in. The legal battle between the ED and the West Bengal CM Mamata Banerjee has taken a very dramatic turn today. Leaked WhatsApp chats have exposed an alleged plot to instigate anarchy and disrupt the law and order in Kolkata. The chats reveal the plan to mobilize a mob to gather outside the Calcutta High Court on Jan 9th and hamper the hearing process. Supreme Court has taken a strong stance, stating that the attempt to disrupt the court proceedings was intentional and not innocent. More in our next report.
The legal drama between ED and Bengal CM Mamata Banerjee now takes a new turn. Leaked WhatsApp chats now expose a chilling plot to instigate anarchy. A mob allegedly mobilized through group messages, with clear instructions to gather outside the Calcutta High Court on January 9th to hamper the hearing process. The aim? Create chaos, disrupt law and order, and derail a crucial judicial hearing. This isn't protest. It's a calculated attempt to intimidate institutions and obstruct justice. The revelations comes a massive setback for Mamata Banerjee and the Bengal police. The Supreme Court also ordered that every FIR registered against Enforcement Directorate officers will now be frozen. BJP also launched a sharp attack on Bengal CM Mamata Banerjee.
जंगल राज का प्रतीक कौन? अराजकता की मूर्ति, जंगल राज का प्रतीक ममता बनर्जी। और बड़े दुख से कहना पड़ता है, ये वो व्यक्ति है जो संविधान की शपथ लेता है, जो मुख्यमंत्री है पश्चिम बंगाल का, जो गृह मंत्री भी है। जंगल राज कैसा होता है? जंगल राज बिल्कुल ममता राज जैसा होता है।
BJP went on to compare Bengal's government to Jungle Raj.
गुंडागर्दी देखिए, हमारे देश की संवैधानिक उच्च न्यायालय को गुंडों से डराने का प्रयास करते हैं। और जो बात सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने संज्ञान ली, उच्च न्यायालय क्या कहता है सुनिए। और इसीलिए पुनः कहूंगा, ये ममता बनर्जी जंगल राज का प्रतीक है, अराजकता की मूर्ति है। और जंगल राज कैसा होता है? बिल्कुल ममता राज जैसा होता है।
The top court also recalls how a CBI team was attacked in Bengal earlier, raising concerns over the safety of central officers and the possibility of conducting fair investigations. The ED makes a clear demand. The case should be moved out of Bengal. A CBI probe is sought into the attacks on ED officers, citing the alleged role of state machinery. The ED alleges an atmosphere of complete anarchy. Material seized during searches was allegedly taken away illegally. With all FIRs stayed and the spotlight firmly on alleged intimidation, the Supreme Court signals zero tolerance for interference in investigations.
Viewers, the Federation of Indian Pilots has accused the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau of harassing the family of deceased pilot Captain Sumit Sabharwal by summoning his nephew Captain Varun Anand in connection with the Air India crash probe. Now, the FIP claims that Captain Anand has no association with the flight or the accident and is being summoned solely due to his familial relationship. They have called the move unlawful and contrary to international aviation investigation norms. Take a look.
The Federation of Indian Pilots has accused the AAIB of harassing the family of deceased pilot Captain Sumit Sabharwal by summoning his nephew in AI-171 crash probe. FIP has issued a notice to the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau regarding the summoning of Captain Varun Anand in connection with the investigation of the AI-171 crash. The letter flags the fact that Captain Varun Anand had no association with the aircraft or the flight in question. He was not present at the site of the accident and does not possess any factual, technical, or operational knowledge relating to the circumstances of the accident. The Federation has objected that the communication calling Captain Varun Anand does not disclose the statutory provision under which he has been summoned, nor does it specify the purpose of the summons or the capacity in which his presence is required.
AIB had written to the airline, and the airline has been pressurizing the captain to go and attend the proceedings with AIB. It is against the rules of the AIB and also as per Annex 13 of ICAO. This does not fall under the purview of the calling of Varun to AIB. Does not fall under these categories of any witnesses who could be of any use towards the finalization of the inquiry.
According to the notice, the summoning of Captain Anand is solely on account of his familial relationship with the deceased pilot, which is stated to be impermissible in law. The notice asserts that such summoning is without jurisdiction. Captain Varun Anand is neither a factual witness, nor a technical witness, nor an expert witness in relation to the accident. Instead of objectively examining systemic, mechanical, or operational causes, it is feared that there is a possible attempt to attribute for responsibility to the deceased flight crew. Father of late Captain Sumit Sabharwal and FIP have already approached the Supreme Court challenging the independence and fairness of the investigation.
Viewers, the families of Indian seafarers detained in Iran have made an urgent appeal to the External Affairs Ministry. At least 16 Indians were detained after the oil tanker MT Valiant Roar was intercepted at Iran's Bandar Abbas port. Families claim no consular access has been given and allege that the Indian crew members had been taken to prison by Iranian guards. Take a look at this report as calls grow louder to bring back those Indians.
Families of Indian seafarers detained in Iran have made a desperate appeal to the Ministry of External Affairs seeking urgent diplomatic intervention. At least 15 Indian crew members were detained after the oil tanker MT Valiant Roar was intercepted at Bandar Abbas port in Iran. According to the appeal submitted by the families, the vessel operated by Prime Tankers LLC Dubai was intercepted by Iran's Revolutionary Guard on December 8, 2025. The ship had 17 to 18 crew members on board, including 15 nationals. Families claim that on January 6, 2026, 10 crew members were taken into custody and jailed by Iran authorities. They say 6 to 7 crew members, including the captain, continue to remain on board the vessel. The families allege that they have had no contact with the detained seafarers and have received no official information on their location, health, legal status, or charges. Republic TV spoke to the families of the detained Indian seafarers. The families claim that no consular access has been provided to any of the Indian crew members so far.
With regards to the response that you all have got so far, you are saying that it's almost been a month since the detention has actually taken place. Now the latest information coming in of the fact that the crew members have been taken into the prison. Have they actually told you what are the charges and what is your window of communication right now?
No, sir, nothing.
There are no charges. I mean, we cannot get. I have tried with various sources. Even the consulates or the ambassador, they are not aware of the charges yet. Even the master on board, they are not aware of the charges yet. They don't have any information what are the charges, why they have been taken to prison, no idea. And all whoever you speak to, all of them are giving a vague reasons of taking them to prison. At the moment, nothing is. We really cannot understand what actually is the scenario. Of late, since the internet in Iran has been shut down, the communication is still like now. We are not able to get in touch with the consulates or even the ambassador. So whatever information I'm getting from the master on board.
The incident comes amid ongoing protests and heightened tensions in Iran, raising serious concerns over the safety and rights of Indian seafarers. Families are now urging the government of India to ensure consular access, ascertain the well-being of the crew, and work towards their early release and safe return.
Viewers, tensions are high after the execution of a 26-year-old boy by Iran. US President Trump says Iran has halted killings and executions, holding off strikes, citing assurances he received. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi says that there is no plans to execute protesters, while repeating claims that foreign elements are behind the unrest. Here's more into that developing story.
Iran death toll stands at 2,571. One 26-year-old has been executed, but there is a hint of thaw, at least for now. Trump claims Iran has stopped the executions.
We've been told that the killing in Iran is stopping, and it's stopping. And there's no plan for executions or executions. So I've been told that on good authority. We'll find out about it. I'm sure if it happens, we'll all be very upset, including you will be very upset.
Meanwhile, Iran downplayed the number of deaths, saying it is not in thousands but in hundreds. He also urged Trump to engage diplomatically. Foreign Minister Araghchi says situation is under control. He also called this an Israeli plot. An Israeli plot, or Iran hiding the crackdown, or US prepping up to invade Iran? Middle East can blow up any time if diplomacy fails.
And viewers, polling for the BMC elections in Maharashtra has been going on. It's over now, and the voter turnout was quite decent. It looks like the BJP-led Mahayuti alliance is locked in a fierce contest with the reunited Thackeray cousins. A polling process, however, witnessed several issues with the voter list leading to diversion of voters to alternate polling booths. And various claims were also made over the indelible ink which was used during those voting processes. Here's a look at what unfolded on polling day.
These are the first BMC polls since the 2022 split in the Shiv Sena, when Eknath Shinde, now Deputy Chief Minister, broke away with a majority of the party's MLAs and allied with the BJP to become the Chief Minister. The polling saw a turnout of 41.08% till 3:30 p.m. Voting took place in 227 wards with approximately 1,700 candidates contesting. The stakes are high for the Thackeray brothers as well as the BJP Shiv Sena alliance following the ruling Mahayuti's resounding victory in last year's assembly elections. Various leaders came and casted their vote. Maharashtra CM Devendra Fadnavis came along with his family and casted his vote.
हमारी म्युनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशन का चुनाव हो रहा है. हमारे लोकतंत्र की एक ऐसी इकाई है जिसको हम लोकतंत्र की मूलगामी आधारशिला कह सकते हैं. मैं ऐसा मानता हूं कि मतदान ये केवल आपका अधिकार नहीं है, तो ये आपका कर्तव्य भी है. लोकतंत्र में अगर हम अच्छा शासन चाहते हैं तो हम मतदान के लिए जाएं. इसलिए मैंने भी मतदान किया है.
After casting his vote, Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde stated that voter turnout in Mumbai had surpassed 25%, suggesting that residents are eager for change.
कॉन्फिडेंट है मैं और मुझे डेवलपमेंट पे भरोसा है. लोग आरोप पे नहीं, टीका टिप्पणी पे नहीं, लोग डेवलपमेंट पे वोट करेंगे. इसलिए मुंबई में देखा है कि 25% से ज़्यादा वोटिंग हुई है. यह बदलाव का चिन्ह है. वो एलिगेशन करते हैं. अभी उनको पता चला है कि हम हारने वाले हैं. वो लोग अपोजिशन हारने का ग्राउंड तैयार कर रहा है और इसलिए वो सब प्रत्यारोप कर रहे हैं. हमें उससे कुछ ये नहीं है, परहेज नहीं. वो अपना आरोप करें. लोग तो वोटिंग करेंगे विकास को, डेवलपमेंट को और अपना भविष्य सुरक्षित करने के लिए.
Speaking to Republic, Rajya Sabha MP Milind Deora stated that this time the victory will be for the organization.
बहुत ही भारी बहुमत से महायुति जीतने जा रही है और इसका एक साफ कारण है कि पिछले 25 वर्षों से भारत का नहीं, एशिया का सबसे अमीर, सबसे बड़ा महानगर पालिका का पूरी तरह से दुरुपयोग किया गया है और लोग बदलाव चाहते हैं, परिवर्तन चाहते हैं. लोगों ने देखा है कि पिछले कई सालों में केंद्र सरकार के सहयोग से राज्य सरकार ने आम मुंबईकरों के लिए, उनके समस्याओं को दूर करने के लिए, ट्रांसपोर्ट की समस्या हो, गृह निर्माण की समस्या हो, उन समस्याओं को दूर करने के लिए स्टेट गवर्नमेंट पूरी तरह से उनके लिए उपलब्ध है, अवेलेबल है, काम कर रही है.
Meanwhile, the crucial BMC polls in Mumbai was marred with allegations that the ink used on voters' fingers could be easily wiped off. Reacting to the allegations, MNS chief Raj Thackeray blamed the government and stated that the government can do anything to stay in power. Whereas the State Election Commission strongly dismissed concerns that removal of the ink could enable repeat voting. The State Election Commission has clarified that if any person is found trying to vote again after removing the ink mark, appropriate legal action will be taken against them. Priyanka Chaturvedi, Shiv Sena UBT MP, raised another issue and complained that her name was missing from the voter list at her usual booth. With polling now concluded amid a high-voltage political contest and a day marked by logistical issues and allegations, the focus now shifts to the counting of votes scheduled to begin tomorrow at 8 a.m. The results are expected to decide the future course of Mumbai's civic body and set the tone for Maharashtra's political landscape in the days ahead.
And viewers, for the first time, India's Army Day parade moved out of a cantonment and onto open city streets. Jaipur has turned into a battlefield showcase. BrahMos missiles, tanks, drones, robot dogs and Apache helicopters on display. And the first public appearance of the new Bhairav battalion. The day also carried very deep emotion as heroes of Operation Sindoor were honored and gallantry medals were awarded to the martyrs. Here is a report.
January 15, India's Army Day, commemorating the day India took command of its own army in 1949. This year it is historic. For the first time ever, the Army Day parade is being held outside a military cantonment on public city roads.
आर्मी डे की आप सबको हार्दिक बधाई. मैं आपके माध्यम से भारतीय सेना के सभी सैनिकों, हमारे सिविलियन कर्मचारियों, वेटरन्स, वीर नारियों और उनके परिवारजनों को हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं देता हूं. जयपुर में सेना दिवस का आयोजन सेना को नागरिकों के और करीब लाने का प्रयास है. परेड के अलावा नो योर आर्मी मेला जैसे कार्यक्रमों ने इस संबंध को और मजबूत किया. आज शाम शौर्य संध्या में ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान सेना के साहस, अनुशासन और क्षमता का प्रदर्शन किया जाएगा.
Jaipur hosts the parade on Mahal Road, Jagatpura. Thousands line the streets to witness history. A 3-kilometer parade route, over 1.5 lakh spectators in attendance. Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi and CDS General Anil Chauhan lead the ceremony. The parade is led by Gallantry Award winners, Ashok Chakra, Paramveer Chakra and Mahavir Chakra recipients. Valor leads the march, pride leads the parade. First public appearance of the newly raised Bhairav Battalion. Positioned between Para-Special Forces and Infantry, the Bhairav Battalion is built for quick, precise, offensive operations in modern warfare. Garhwal Scouts, Sikkim Scouts and Arunachal Scouts march past in full battle gear. The all-girls NCC contingent steals the spotlight, showcasing India's youth power. BrahMos missile system on public roads. India's supersonic strike capability on display. Pinaka rocket launcher follows, symbol of India's long-range firepower. Eyes shift to the sky. Apache attack helicopters perform aggressive maneuvers overhead, a demonstration of air dominance and combat readiness. Robot dogs lead the column, signaling the arrival of robotics in modern warfare. Combat drones displayed, highlighting India's growing drone warfare capability. The Integrated Drone Detection and Interdiction System IDDIS, capable of soft kill and hard kill of aerial threats. A glimpse of future warfare, smart, fast and technology driven. Advanced towed artillery gun system, an M777 ultralight howitzer on display. Akash Tir air defense system showcased, battle proven during Operation Sindoor. Jaipur turns into a sea of tricolors. Patriotism fills the streets. Infantry, paratroopers, mechanized units, a complete picture of India's army. Not just a parade, but a statement of strength, sacrifice and self-reliance. From Jaipur streets, India sends a powerful message to the world. The Indian Army stands ready. The nation stands proud.
And viewers, that's all we have on 6 stories that 6, but do not go anywhere. Next is Live and Breaking with my colleague Rakshita Mishra.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार. क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर्नब मसाला. केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे. केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार. विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला. सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप.
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला. Delicious, healthy, every day.
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. And they won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So, I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force. So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So we don't want that to happen. There have been cases like this where President Obama totally backed down. But this is something pretty incredible that's happening in Iran. It's an amazing thing to watch. They've done a bad job. They've treated their people very badly, and now they're being paid back. So let's see what happens. We're watching it.
U.S. has proven its military capacity in Operation Midnight Hammer, where the United States military bombed Iran's nuclear facilities. U.S. B-2 stealth bombers, which flew a secretive and historic long-range mission, dropped 14 massive ordnance penetrators, also known as bunker buster bombs, on 3 critical Iranian nuclear sites: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. As the situation between the U.S. and Iran escalates further, Israel's official state aircraft, Wing of Zion, has departed from Nevatim Air Force Base. The aircraft, which contains a private office, a war room, and sophisticated defense systems, serves as the primary transport for the Prime Minister. India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar has also received a call from Iranian Foreign Minister Sayed Abbas Araghchi. The foreign ministers discussed the evolving situation in and around Iran. The protests began as demonstrations in Tehran's bazaars over rampant inflation. The Iranian rial surged to $1 million against the US dollar, marking a significant devaluation of the national currency in a single day. The protests morphed into an uprising against the Khamenei regime.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा। इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. They won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So, I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So we don't want that to happen. There have been cases like this where
Viewers, top headlines for tracking right now. Mamata Banerjee insults forces, calls army commandant is doing SIR and BJP work.
जंगल राज का प्रतीक कौन? अराजकता की मूर्ति, जंगल राज का प्रतीक ममता बनर्जी। और बड़े दुख से कहना पड़ता है, ये वो व्यक्ति है जो संविधान की शपथ लेता है।
BJP attacks Mamata government after a Supreme Court order says CM symbol of Jungle Raj, idol of anarchy. After hygiene, Rao World number 2 says polluted Delhi unfit for Badminton Championship. Controversy over summons to late Air India pilot's brother and Air India crash investigation. Top pilot's body calls out the government. Voting across 29 municipal corporations is being held across Maharashtra. Total of 3.48 crore voters have voted till 5:30 p.m. Viewers, we are live and breaking. I'm Shivangi Shukla getting you the latest coming in. In view of the evolving situation in Iran, MEA has said that they will be bringing back those stranded Indians, nationals. MEA is making preparations to facilitate return of Indian nationals who wish to travel back to India. This is coming as the situation in Iran has become very, very tense. Many Indians are stranded, and MEA has already sent advisory to these Indians to not travel to Iran, and if they are in Iran, they should come back to the country as soon as possible. Now, the MEA advisory has already been out. They have said, in view of the ongoing developments in Iran, Indian nationals are once again strongly advised to avoid travel to the Islamic Republic of Iran until further notice. This is the advisory which has been put out, and MEA is making preparations to bring them back. All right, let's go straight across to our senior executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, is joining. Abhishek, we see that many Indians have been advised not to travel to Iran, and if they are there, they have to come back. MEA has said they will facilitate the return of the Indian nationals who are stranded.
Well, you see, first up, this is an evidence, if one was needed, that the situation is going downhill insofar as the Iran or evolving Iran situation is concerned. It's going downhill, and it seems our agencies have assessed that we really need to evacuate all Indian nationals, given the possibility of military action from the United States. And so we need to bring them out. like it happened in the case of Ukraine with Operation Ganga, or in the case of Afghanistan with Operation Devi Shakti, or even in the case of the Iran-Israel conflict, the last round of which saw Operation Sindhu, with which India evacuated all its nationals from these nations respectively. I think similarly, the Ministry of External Affairs is coordinating with other agencies, essentially the Ministry of Defense, and evacuate a few hundred of citizens who are stuck in various parts of Iran, essentially Tehran. Remember, there have been people-to-people ties and also trade relationship existing, howsoever minuscule. So the Ministry of External Affairs is expecting that they might need anything between 4 to 5 flights, maybe a few more, to evacuate the Indians who are stuck in Iran. And the first of those evacuation flights might be beginning tomorrow, is what we are getting to here.
All right, thank you for getting us all those details. Abhishek getting us top updates. I really want to move ahead to some of the other stories tracking. Now, a lot of concerns, viewers, have been raised over facilities at Delhi's Indira Gandhi Indoor Stadium during the India Open Badminton tournament after players and spectators reported unsanitary conditions, unclean conditions, frequent monkey intrusions. Several videos shared on social media showed monkeys roaming inside the spectator gallery, particularly the gold stand, while players complained of pigeon droppings and poor hygiene within the venue. Players have claimed that the conditions were unfit for an international tournament. The controversy has snowballed after the world number 2 withdrew from the event, citing Delhi's pollution and overall environment as absolutely unsuitable for any kind of games to be happening. All right, let's go straight across to our guest joining us. Shekhar Vijayan, sports journalist, is joining us on Republic TV. Thank you for joining us here, Mr. Vijayan. This is quite embarrassing, honestly, because Indira Gandhi Stadium, Delhi being the national capital of India, we expect world-class standard. What do you think is really going wrong here?
I think everything is going wrong here. If you look at the kind of complaints which has come in, we've got players who have put their Instagram stories. They haven't even taken a fine of $5,000 saying, they don't want to, even play in Delhi because of the weather conditions, because of how bad the conditions are. The second thing is, when you have a global championship like this, demands global standards. And the fact is, if India is, preparing for the Olympics, if you're talking about, hosting championships like this in the future, I think this is a total downer. This is not the way infrastructure should be. You should not have players coming and telling us that the situation is so bad. The players, the main job is to focus on winning on the field, or in the badminton court. If they have the time to tell us, the India or the authorities, that there is a big problem here in terms of bird poop, or in terms of monkeys coming and watching, or in terms of the weather conditions, in terms of the ground not being clean, then there is a big problem. There's a big difference. There's a big lacuna between what we think is an Olympic dream with respect to our ground reality. And there's a big difference. And I think, India really needs to take charge of this. Authorities, the government really needs to be responsible here. Like they say, with great power comes great responsibility. It's not just about getting these, championships on board. It's also about making sure that the players are well taken care of on the field. It's also very important to make sure that, our authorities, our government authorities, people at the top don't get defensive about this. Of late, we have noticed whenever somebody points a finger, whenever somebody gives them feedback, they tend to get very defensive about it. There's no reason to get defensive. It's about feedback. Take the feedback in the right spirit and keep moving forward. I think that is going to be very important. The second thing is, if India is looking at hosting world championships in the future, it's very important for India to be infrastructure ready. Not just in terms of player ready, but also in terms of infrastructure, also in terms of making sure that the players who come in, the world-class players who come in,
Mr. Vijayan, the Badminton Association of India Secretary General Sanjay Mishra has claimed the venue was pigeon-free, and you were saying that it's time to take accountability. But, however, he's not really taking accountability here. He's responding to the criticism, but he is not giving a solution, and a solution is what we want.
Absolutely. Shivangi, that's exactly the point I say. There's nobody who's taking accountability for this. There's nobody who's taking responsibility for this. Where does the buck really stop? Do we have any one of them even coming and answering this question? It's so embarrassing that you have, athletes like the world number 3 putting out information out on the internet, out on Instagram, or you have Mia who's talking about, about what she feels. And there is nobody from the government who's coming in and taking charge and saying, feedback taken in the right spirit, we move on. I don't think they should take it personally. The fact is, if there is feedback which is given, work on it and move on. If India needs to host championships like this in the future, we're going to have a Badminton World Championship in August. This is the best dress rehearsal for it. If we're not ready now, then how are we going to be ready in the future? I think India really needs to take note of this. The government, the machinery, the people who administer, they need to understand that the internet is such a interesting medium, because people will get information whether India is doing well or whether India is doing bad. Now, if you have a situation where if this is how it is, as you see, there's a monkey right there in the state.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for putting out your viewpoint there, Republic TV. I'll have to move ahead to some of the other stories you're tracking. Viewers, after a barrage of obscene pictures deluded X social media with a grok feature that edited real photos upon request to take down clothes of real people, an update is finally here to tackle the huge menace. Elon Musk's AI model Grok will absolutely no longer be able to edit photos of real people to show them in revealing clothes. Here's a report on the development.
Elon Musk's Grok AI will no longer edit photos of real people to show them in revealing clothing. X said that technological measures will prevent Grok account from allowing the editing of images and bar it from creating obscene images. With this, Grok will no longer be able to edit photos of real people to depict them in revealing clothing following the spread of sexualized AI deepfakes. This progress comes after the Ministry of Information Technology issued a notice to X asking it to remove obscene content from its platform. It had given the platform to comply with India's statutory obligations within 72 hours. In response, the social media platform had removed approximately 3,500 pieces of content and deleted over 600 accounts.
And viewers, the big story we're tracking today was that West Bengal CM Mamata Banerjee triggered a political storm after alleging that an army commandant posted at Fort William was doing SIR and BJP work. Now, the BJP has accused her of insulting the armed forces and dragging the Indian army into partisan politics ahead of elections. So this is what we see right now, viewers, where Mamata Banerjee has made that statement. Controversial remark. Let's play it out.
বর্ডারের দায়িত্বে কে বিএসএফ সেন্ট্রাল গভর্নমেন্ট, কয়লার দায়িত্বে কে সিআইএসএফ সেন্ট্রাল গভর্নমেন্ট, প্লেনে কে আসছে বাইরের লোক তার দায়িত্বে কে কাস্টমস কার হাতে, এভিয়েশন কার হাতে, রেল কার হাতে, সব সেন্ট্রাল গভর্নমেন্ট, সিআরপিএফ কার হাতে, সেন্ট্রাল গভর্নমেন্ট, আর্মিও তোমার হাতে, সেন্ট্রাল গভর্নমেন্ট। আমি জীবনে দেখিনি, এমনকি আমার কাছে একটা খবর এসছে কদিন আগে আপনাদের সাংবাদিকদের আর্মি অফিস থেকে কাউকে ইনভাইট করা হয়েছিল জাস্ট টু টক। আমি এর মধ্যে কোনো ভুল দেখি না, আমি ওদের সম্মান করি, আমি সব ফোর্সকেই। কিন্তু একটা রিকোয়েস্ট করব, আমার কাছে খবর আছে ফোর্ট উইলিয়ামে একজন কমান্ড্যান্ট এসআইআর এর কাজ করছে এবং বিজেপি করছে, বসে পার্টি অফিসের কাজ করছেন। প্লিজ আপনাদের কাছে হাত জোর করে রিকোয়েস্ট করব, এটা করতে যাবেন না। যারা সত্যিকারের চোর ডাকাত, ধরুন কটা কেস হয়েছে বিজেপির, খুনি, ডাকাত, ধর্ষককারী, হত্যাকারী, হাওলাকারী, কটা কেস হয়েছে?
And viewers, let's move ahead right now to some of the other stories we're tracking. And now the ED had claimed there was chaos at the Calcutta High Court, and now the ED has said they have proof. WhatsApp chats have been accessed by Republic TV, and in those chats, we see that these chats show in which lawyers are purportedly being asked to assemble in the courtroom. On Jan 9, the Calcutta High Court was hearing 2 sets of petitions on the raids. In this petition, the ED has alleged that West Bengal CM and TMC chairperson Mamata Banerjee had misused her constitutional post by hindering officials who were doing their duty during raids at the IPAC office and the house of its co-founder Pratik Jain. That the TMC and Jain had filed counter pleas. We are getting some more reactions coming in. BJP has hit out at the TMC, accusing it of undermining the democratic system of the country. BJP has accused TMC chief and the CM, Mamata Banerjee, of alleged interference during the ED's raid at the office of political consultancy firm IPAC in connection with the money laundering case. Let's play it out for you viewers.
गुंडागर्दी देखिए, हमारे देश की संवैधानिक उच्च न्यायालय को गुंडों से डराने का प्रयास करते हैं और जो बात सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने संज्ञान ली, उच्च न्यायालय क्या कहता है सुनिए, और इसीलिए पुनः कहूंगा, ये ममता बनर्जी जंगल राज का प्रतीक है, अराजकता की मूर्ति है, और जंगल राज कैसा होता है, बिल्कुल ममता राज जैसा होता है। गुंडागर्दी देखिए, हमारे देश की संवैधानिक उच्च न्यायालय को गुंडों से डराने का प्रयास करते हैं और जो बात सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने संज्ञान ली, उच्च न्यायालय क्या कहता है सुनिए, और इसीलिए पुनः कहूंगा, ये ममता बनर्जी जंगल राज का प्रतीक है, अराजकता की मूर्ति है, और जंगल राज कैसा होता है, बिल्कुल ममता राज जैसा होता है।
And viewers, for the first time, India's Army Day Parade moved out of a cantonment and onto open city streets. Jaipur turned into a battlefield showcase with the BrahMos missile, tanks, drones, robots, dogs and Apache helicopters on display. And the first public appearance of the new Bhairav Battalion. The day also carried deep emotion as heroes of Operation Sindoor were honored and gallantry medals were awarded to the martyrs. Here's a report.
India's Army Day, commemorating the day India took command of its own army in 1949. This year it is historic. For the first time ever, the Army Day Parade is being held outside a military cantonment on public city roads.
आर्मी डे की आप सबको हार्दिक बधाई। मैं आपके माध्यम से भारतीय सेना के सभी सैनिकों, हमारे सिविलियन कर्मचारियों, वेटरन्स, वीर नारियों और उनके परिवारजनों को हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। जयपुर में सेना दिवस का आयोजन सेना को नागरिकों के और करीब लाने का प्रयास है। परेड के अलावा नो योर आर्मी मेला जैसे कार्यक्रमों ने इस संबंध को और मजबूत किया। आज शाम शौर्य संध्या में ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान सेना के साहस, अनुशासन और क्षमता का प्रदर्शन किया जाएगा।
Jaipur hosts the parade on Mahal Road, Jagatpura. Thousands line the streets to witness history. A 3-kilometer parade route, over 1.5 lakh spectators in attendance. Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi and CDS General Anil Chauhan lead the ceremony. The parade is led by Gallantry Award winners, Ashok Chakra, Paramveer Chakra and Mahavir Chakra recipients. Valor leads the march. Pride leads the parade. First public appearance of the newly raised Bhairav Battalion. Positioned between Para-Special Forces and Infantry, the Bhairav Battalion is built for quick, precise, offensive operations in modern warfare. Garhwal Scouts, Sikkim Scouts and Arunachal Scouts march past in full battle gear. The all-girls NCC contingent steals the spotlight, showcasing India's youth power. BrahMos missile system on public roads. India's supersonic strike capability on display. Pinaka rocket launcher follows, symbol of India's long-range firepower. Eyes shift to the sky. Apache attack helicopters perform aggressive maneuvers overhead. A demonstration of air dominance and combat readiness.
Getting you some breaking news coming in, viewers. Air India A350 aircraft, while operating a flight, Air India Delhi to New York, was involved in air turn back due to Iranian airspace closure. Aircraft landed safely at runway 28 in Delhi and it had to turn back. The Air India flight had to turn back. Air India flight engine damaged post landing in Delhi. So we have put that picture out for you. During taxi to apron at taxiway, The engine ingested a cargo container, causing a lot of damage to the engine, number 2 engine. The incident occurred early in the morning. As per information, the visibility at the time of incident was quite marginal. The investigation in the beginning stages has revealed that a BWFS tug transporting few containers to baggage makeup area of Terminal 3 crossed this intersection while on the vehicular lane. And during the crossing, one of the containers toppled onto the taxiway intersection. So this is the engine which was damaged. So we have put that out for you. This is the Air India engine which was damaged post-landing in Delhi. And we're also getting some more updates coming in because the investigation would be continuing in this case. Further investigation is being carried out by DGCA. This is what the Directorate General of Civil Aviation has said. So we have got those pictures. That is the Air India engine which was damaged. This is the Air India aircraft A350 VTGRB while operating flight Air India 101 Delhi to New York was involved in air turn back due to Iranian airspace closure. Aircraft landed safely at runway 28 in Delhi. These exclusive pictures which are coming in of this flight. We'll put out the flight. Okay, then we have a picture of the flight as well. We have the picture of the Air India flight as well, whose engine has been damaged. The investigation, of course, is continuing in this case because the Directorate General of Civil Aviation has put a statement out saying that investigation will be carried out by the DGCA to really understand, what has happened here. So the engine, this is the Air India Delhi to New York flight engine, which got sucked in the baggage container. It has been quite damaged. This happened in the morning today during taxiing in dense fog at the airport. And the damage has been confirmed by the DGCA. This is a flight which was operating between Delhi and New York. Returned to the airport after the Iranian airspace closure impacted its route. Engine damage occurred just after the aircraft landed in Delhi. Exclusive pictures on your screen. And this is coming in as we see that during the incident, the plane was safely positioned at designated parking, ensuring safety of the passengers. That's what we know so far. So only the engine has been damaged, according to the latest. So the aircraft is grounded. Investigation will continue, and Republic TV keeps getting the top updates on India's #1 news channel. Stay tuned.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर्नब मसाला
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध, MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा राजा और मसाला
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की देगी मिर्च
देगी मिर्च का तड़का अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. And they won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So, I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So we don't want that to happen. There have been cases like this where President Obama totally backed down. But this is something pretty incredible that's happening in Iran. It's an amazing thing to watch. They've done a bad job. They've treated their people very badly, and now they're being paid back. So let's see what happens. We're watching it.
U.S. has proven its military capacity in Operation Midnight Hammer, where the United States military bombed Iran's nuclear facilities. U.S. B-2 stealth bombers, which flew a secretive and historic long-range mission, dropped 14 massive ordnance penetrators, also known as bunker buster bombs, on 3 critical Iranian nuclear sites: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Thank you for joining us on This Is Exclusive. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Niranjan, and we have to do a reality check on India's sports infrastructure. We're doing that on the show this evening. Here are the headlines, 7 p.m. on Republic. Major controversy during the India Open. Pigeon droppings, pollution, monkeys inside the stadium, the state of India's sporting infrastructure under question. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee insults forces, claims army commandant doing BJP and SIR work. She directly targets the army now.
कौन? अराजकता की मूर्ति, जंगल राज का प्रतीक ममता बनर्जी। और बड़े दुख से कहना पड़ता है, ये वो व्यक्ति है जो संविधान की शपथ लेता है।
BJP goes after Mamata Banerjee after she faces a huge jolt in the Supreme Court. ED, FIR stayed. All the FIRs filed by the Bengal police now stayed by the Supreme Court after intervention. Ahmedabad crash. Investigation continues. And why on earth is the Accident Bureau under DGCA going after pilots and summoning pilots' relatives in the investigation? Legal notice sent to the DGCA. In the last few days, there have been headlines after players complained about the air quality, complained about the state of infrastructure, complained about pigeon droppings, complained about monkeys inside the stadium. And we here at Republic have done a reality check at some of the sporting facilities where the tournament is currently underway. Let's show you some of the videos. First up, let's show you the pictures that came in. Some of the videos that have come in. This is inside the KD Jadhav Stadium. These are pictures that came in showing how monkeys were walking around the stands. And the Badminton Association of India says that the door was open and that's how the monkeys just happened to get inside. But this is not the only reason why we are doing this story. Let's show you some more pictures of the state of infrastructure. This is a state of sporting infrastructure. This is the KD Jadhav Stadium. This is garbage strewn all around. These were pictures taken by Republic reporter today. The Republic reporter was there at the KG Jadhav Stadium, and in fact we will be joined by some of our reporters who are live inside and outside the stadium. We have reporters inside the stadium and outside the stadium. And this is the state of infrastructure. In fact, some of the athletes complain, and you remember that in the national capital, in the last few months, there have been several complaints by athletes. It's not only about India Open, it's not only about badminton, it's about the sporting infrastructure. There were athletes who came to the national capital a few months back, but were bitten by stray dogs. And now you have athletes, some of whom have withdrawn because of the poor air quality in the national capital. Some are complaining about how there were pigeon droppings on the badminton court. And this is the state of affairs inside. In fact, these are not just stray dogs, and there was garbage inside the stadium. Let's show the pictures of the garbage that was being cleaned as we were reporting from inside. We will be reporting inside the stadium as well in a short while from now. But that's the national capital. That is the KD Jadhav Stadium. It's a reality check. And our duty here at Republic TV is to give those who run India's sporting bodies a reality check of what is happening inside sporting infrastructures. Crores and crores of rupees is spent building these stadiums. And then look at the state of the infrastructure, ladies and gentlemen. And that is why we are raising some questions on whether adequate care is taken, whether we are taking sports serious enough, and then we ask questions about whether we,
failed to win medals, why we failed to win medals, whether we did enough for athletes and whether athletes failed us. But if this is the state of infrastructure and if this is how much we care about sports in India, then questions will have to be asked. And that is why we are getting you these pictures. This is inside the badminton stadium. Let's show you what some of the players said. We had graphics. Before I go across to Harsh, I want to show you some of the comments that were made. Of course, the Badminton Association of India is countering these claims. I'm going to put out the graphics now of what the Badminton Association of India said and what the players from different countries complained about. Let's put that up first, please. If we can show our viewers, on air, we'll just do that. And take a look at this situation. This is a Danish shuttler, Mia Blichfeldt. She said the situation remains unchanged from last year. She was here last year as well. And then she complained about this. She said the badminton courts are dirty and unfit to be played on, saying the condition of the court is unhealthy, professional. She spoke about bird droppings and she spoke about how cold the stadium was even for practice. And then another shuttler, this is world number 3, Anders Antonsen. He's a Danish shuttler. Withdrew. He said, don't think Delhi is a place to host a badminton tournament, given the air quality. And it is embarrassing, ladies and gentlemen, because we spoke about air quality, and as we speak, as of this minute, the air quality in the Delhi NCR is above 350. It's above 350. And it is in the poor to hazardous category. And that is why athletes are extremely let down. Indians should be angry about the state of affairs, and we are asking those questions. Harsh is joining us live. Let's go back to those pictures. And Harsh is outside the KD Jadhav Stadium. Yeah, let me go across to him. Harsh, you were there. Can you tell us where you recorded these pictures? Were these pictures inside the stadium compound? By the way, this is what the BAI says. They've said that the remarks made by these players are not about the main playing arena, and that the comments on the training venue, and they're not really on the match arena. Adding that the foreign players spoke about general playing conditions in India. This is what Sanjay Mishra said. He is the General Secretary of BAI, saying that the player did not speak about the competition venue. So they say that training venue, this can happen, but in the competition venue, it is perfectly fine. Now, this is the justification that came in. But let's go back to the pictures of the KD Jadhav Stadium. The monkeys, garbage, and Harsh is joining me live. Harsh, where did you shoot these pictures, and can you tell us about what you saw there?
Yes, Niranjan, we are standing right outside the KD Jadhav Stadium here in New Delhi. What the pictures we shot a few minutes back were the pictures right outside the stadium premises, and let me tell you that this was originally the official spot where India Open was scheduled to take place. However, it was later shifted to Indira Gandhi Indoor Stadium. However, when the team of Republic made attempts to go inside the stadium to actually see the condition here, we were not allowed to go inside. Deliberate efforts were made to drag us outside the stadium. However, we managed to click a few videos where it can be seen that workers were deployed while we were reporting to actually clean the premises.
1 minute. Harsh, there's a video here where they're cleaning the garbage. I'm going full frame to the pictures, and I'm going to describe the pictures, and I want you to tell us where those pictures were shot. Now, this is garbage. Inside the stadium premises, not outside. It's inside the KD Jadhav Stadium, right? It's inside the compound, where you're seeing all these people and they're clearing the garbage. And you're saying the garbage was being cleared after you went inside, right? After you went inside.
Yes, right. We are standing currently right outside the main entrance of the KD Jadhav Stadium. And when you see, if I would ask my video journalist to pan inside the stadium, what you can see is the premises that was being cleaned when we were reporting from inside the stadium. However, teams were deployed to drag us outside the stadium. We were not allowed to shoot the videos that we shot. However, we managed to shoot a couple of videos there. And there were workers deployed to actually clean the stadium while we were reporting from inside. However, our video journalists were not allowed inside the stadium premises. We made multiple attempts to let us go in, but we were not allowed to. but we still managed to get a couple of shots from inside the stadium while they made deliberate efforts to clean the stadium out after the news broke in about poor hygiene condition, despite a tournament of this importance, a tournament of significant importance that is happening, where shuttlers not just from India but from across the world are taking part. Over to you, Niranjan.
Okay, sure. Thank you for that. We'll keep a close watch on the story. This is what happened at the KD Jadhav Stadium. We'll move on and get you some more updates in a short while from now. It's been about 7 months since the Ahmedabad crash, and yet we don't have any answers about what led to the AI-171 crash. Instead, there is now a complaint filed by different pilots' bodies and even the families of the pilots, including Captain Sabharwal, who was the pilot on AI-171. His family too is speaking out because we are now hearing that the pilots' relatives are being called in for questioning. In fact, there is a complaint that has been written and a legal notice sent to the AAIB by the pilots' body asking why pilots' relatives are being summoned for the investigation and whether there is an attempt to harass pilots. Now, this is a claim that is being made, and the pilot's family is also speaking out. Captain Ehsan Khalid is joining us on the show. I'd like to go across to him to get a better understanding of what is going on in this investigation. Captain Khalid, why would the relative of a pilot be called in this particular case?
This is quite baffling because we have not been told the reason unless there is a witch hunt going on and they are trying to find out what was the psyche of the pilot. That means there would be one conclusion that they drew on the first day, that the psyche of the pilot itself was not right. Right. So they would now be trying to find out the corroborative evidence that yes, the psyche was not right, because one of the relatives said that, he was fighting with someone or he wasn't very cordial or something. That's all that can be a secondary or a hearsay evidence that they're trying to collect. But I haven't heard of any such thing that has ever been taken by an aircraft investigation board without declaring that the reason for this particular accident is pilot's deliberate accident. Once you come to that conclusion, then you could be doing all these things. You can't be looking at family, friends, neighbors' statement and then say, well, this is the reason what has happened. And that is what is wrong and very disturbing. Because first, pilot AIB has to declare that we have closed all technical points. We have closed all engine failures. We have closed all battery problem. We have closed any technical thing that could have led to this particular thing. And we are now convinced that it was a deliberate act of pilot to kill the aircraft. Having made that statement, that means the investigation has closed. Then they would say that fine, now we will start investigating the psychological angle of this particular accident. But that doesn't seem to be the thing. And that is what is disturbing.
Normal, because we've never heard of a case where the relative of a pilot has been called in for investigation. We saw very strongly worded statement that came in from some of the pilots' bodies, and there has been a concern that since the beginning of this investigation, somehow the airline, in this case Air India, for all the maintenance or lack thereof, and then also how Boeing, they have been somehow, let off the hook, if I can say that.
Yeah, have we heard of a similar kind of a thing that the Boeing designer who designed the battery and its routing system has been called? No, that line of investigation is dead.
Yeah. And why do you think that's happening? Why do you think that's happening?
Pilots' relatives being called for investigation, that means the conclusion that they first said has actually been arrived at. We should know. If that be the conclusion, we should know. Not that, 10 relatives said this and who said what, under what pressure. I don't know. But the thing is that, to go on this route, the technical reason of failure must be closed and declared so. That has not been done as yet.
Family, in fact, what I want to know is the family has gone to court. They've gone to the highest court. This is Captain Sabharwal's family, and they have asked for this attempt to harass the family of the pilot somehow. You see the wording of that report that came in. It was the same AAIB report where there was an attempt to somehow put leave that question mark on the pilot in that report. You remember we discussed that report in great detail.
Yeah.
Does it appear that they've made up their mind in this case?
No, they made up the mind on the first 48 hours itself. They haven't changed the mind, and that is what you're telling me. What the mind was made in first 48 hours has not changed a bit. That is what was the complaint that Captain Sabharwal's father had gone to the board, FIP had gone to the board, to the Supreme Court. ALPA had gone to the Supreme Court that please change this mindset, approach this investigation with an open mind. But that doesn't seem to be there because they haven't changed their stand a bit. This news that you are giving me that, they are calling the relatives, it's just towing the first 48 hours of line of thinking.
Yeah. Okay, I'll leave it at that, Captain Khalid. Let's see where the story goes because Captain Sabharwal's father is also going to speak to Republic in a short while from now. Let's see what he has to say because it's a very, very mysterious move. We don't know. We don't have a response yet from the DGCA or the AAIB on why the family has been called. But this is what we have so far. The story of how another pilot related to Captain Sabharwal has now been called in for questioning in the investigation of the Ahmedabad crash.
Okay.
The Federation of Indian Pilots has accused the AAIB of harassing the family of deceased pilot Captain Sumit Sabharwal by summoning his nephew in AI 171 crash probe. FIP has issued a notice to the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau regarding the summoning of Captain Varun Anand in connection with the investigation of the AI 171 crash. The letter flags the fact that Captain Varun Anand had no association with the aircraft or the flight in question. He was not present at the site of the accident and does not possess any factual, technical, or operational knowledge relating to the circumstances of the accident. The Federation has objected that the communication calling Captain Varun Anand does not disclose the statutory provision under which he has been summoned, nor does it specify the purpose of the summons or the capacity in which his presence is required.
AIB had written to the airline, and the airline has been pressurizing the captain to go and attend the proceedings with AIB. It is against the rules of the AIB and also as per Annex 13 of ICAO. This does not fall under the purview of the calling of Varun to AIB. Does not fall under these categories of any witnesses who would be of any use towards the finalization of the inquiry.
According to the notice, the summoning of Captain Anand is solely on account of his familial relationship with the deceased pilot, which is stated to be impermissible in law. The notice asserts that such summoning is without jurisdiction. Captain Varun Anand is neither a factual witness, nor a technical witness, nor an expert witness in relation to the accident. Instead of objectively examining systemic, mechanical, or operational causes, it is feared that there is a possible attempt to attribute for responsibility to the deceased flight crew. Father of late Captain Sumit Sabharwal and FIP have already approached the Supreme Court challenging the independence and fairness of the investigation.
And that's it on this edition of This Is Exclusive. Ladies and gentlemen, this is trending coming up next, and the debate at 8 p.m. Stay tuned.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध, MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, mass comm, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरी राजा मसाला। मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी चाहे जो भी हो।
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. They won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So, I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So we don't want that to happen. There have been cases like this where President Obama totally backed down. But this is something pretty incredible that's happening in Iran. It's an amazing thing to watch. They've done a bad job. They've treated their people very badly, and now they're being paid back. So let's see what happens. We're watching it.
U.S. has proven its military capacity in Operation Midnight Hammer, where the United States military bombed Iran's nuclear facilities. U.S. B-2 stealth bombers, which flew a secretive and historic long-range mission, dropped
MNS और शिवसेना के वोट से नहीं बचे ना, उद्धव सेना के वोट कहाँ बचे?
जब वोट्स थे 2009 में तब साथ में आते तो महाराष्ट्र की पॉलिटिक्स अलग होती। अब इनके पास वोट नहीं बचे और आप इस चुनाव के बाद देख लीजिए, राज ठाकरे जी will be the biggest loser in this coalition, biggest loser.
एकनाथ शिंदे जी डर गए हैं राज ठाकरे और उद्धव ठाकरे के साथ में आने।
अभी वो कहते हैं कि मराठी खतरे में है, मराठी मानुस खतरे में है। वो खतरे में मराठी मानुस नहीं है या मुंबई नहीं है, उनका खुद का अस्तित्व खतरे में आया है, इसलिए डर गए वो।
साथ में यहाँ पे महायुति में हैं और साथ में सामने इस तरह से बयानबाजी होती है, फिर मिलते हैं जनता बड़ा कंफ्यूज है।
बिल्कुल नहीं, आप सोचते हैं वैसा जनता कंफ्यूज होती है। जनता हमारे से ज्यादा होशियार है, वो बिल्कुल कन्विंस नहीं है।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
अरे टेंशन किस बात की। सेंचुरी प्रोवुड का प्रीमियम प्लस है ना, लो एमिशन है, हाई डेंसिटी है, वाटर रेजिस्टेंट भी, टर्माइट एंड बोरो रेजिस्टेंट भी है। यानी ये है जहाँ नो टेंशन वहाँ।
प्रीमियम प्लस बाय सेंचुरी प्रोवुड।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
को पावर्ड बाय सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम। रहो बेफिक्र।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. They won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So, I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So we don't want that to happen. There have been cases like this where President Obama totally backed down. But this is something pretty incredible that's happening in Iran. It's an amazing thing to watch. They've done a bad job. They've treated their people very badly, and now they're being paid back. So let's see what happens. We're watching it.
U.S. has proven its military capacity.
एमएनएस और शिवसेना के वोट
से नहीं बचे ना,
उद्धव सेना के
वोट्स कहाँ बचे। जब वोट्स थे 2009 में तब साथ में आते तो महाराष्ट्र की पॉलिटिक्स अलग होती। अब इनके पास वोट नहीं बचे और आप इस चुनाव के बाद देख लीजिए, राज ठाकरे जी will be the biggest loser in this coalition, biggest loser.
एकनाथ शिंदे जी डर गए हैं राज ठाकरे और उद्धव ठाकरे के साथ में आने।
अभी वो कहते हैं कि मराठी खतरे में है, मराठी मानुस खतरे में। वो खतरे में मराठी मानुस नहीं है या मुंबई नहीं है, उनका खुद का अस्तित्व खतरे में आया है, इसलिए डर गए वो।
साथ में यहाँ पे महायुति में हैं और साथ में सामने इस तरह से बयानबाजी होती है, फिर मिलते हैं। जनता बड़ा कंफ्यूज है।
बिल्कुल नहीं, आप सोचते हैं वैसा जनता कंफ्यूज होती है। जनता हमारे से ज्यादा होशियार है, वो बिल्कुल कन्विंस नहीं है।
From your smartphones to your smart televisions, trending stories are breaking the internet. Tonight, we have lined up for you stories that are viral and have stirred a storm online. First up, the controversial aftermath of divorce of Mary Kom and her husband. Mary Kom's ex-husband accuses her of cheating. He says he can forgive but never forget. Mary Kom now in turn has retorted to the allegations. What is also trending is NASA Administrator Grant ordering the first medical evacuation in ISIS history for Crew 11. Also on the show is the story State of Affairs of the National Capital Stadium, where what was meant to be an arena for training for international badminton champions has now turned into a strolling ground for monkeys. We get you a heartwarming moment from the BMC elections, where viral video shows Akshay Kumar helping a woman who's asking financial aid outside the polling booth. This video has taken internet by the storm. And finally, the United States Senator's confrontation with the Indian origin doctor Nisha Verma has grabbed eyeballs during abortion hearing. We have this and a lot more packed in this episode for you tonight. I'm Tanisha Avasthi. This is Trending. A 2-decade-long marriage ending in a prime-time mudslinging. Last year, India's boxing queen and 6-time world champion Mary Kom confirmed her divorce from her husband, also known as Onler. But the reasons of separation? She remained mum and discreet about it. However, following months of speculation and rumors around the separation, Mary Kom seems to have finally broken her silence. The blame game all stems from Mary Kom at an interview accusing her husband of financial fraud. This, as she claims, it broke her trust and ultimately their marriage. Onler was quick to retort to these claims. He has fired back with claims of extramarital affairs. Let's take a deeper look into the allegations hurled back and forth between once husband and wife Mary Kom. For one, claimed that Onler never earned a penny and lived off her earnings. From boxing, she further revealed that after 2022 injury right before the Commonwealth Games, she saw his real face. She said she caught him red-handed when he withdrew 10 lakh from her account without her consent and later lied about it as well. She also accused him of transferring her properties and assets worth several crores into his own name without her prior knowledge. These, she said, felt like betrayals and ultimately took a toll on their marriage. And Onler fueled the fire with his counter to her allegations. He, in fact, alleged that Mary Kom to have cheated on him and the marriage, and not once but twice. He recently claimed that Mary first had an affair in 2013 with a junior boxer, which led to a major rift between them at that time. The couple later reconciled for the sake of their family, but in 2017, Onler further alleged that Mary Kom had another affair with somebody from her academy. Mary Kom Boxing Academy is the place that the husband suspects that she had another affair in. Now, these incidents slowly eroded their relationship. He also responded to Mary Kom's allegations of financial fraud, calling them false and mere accusations. He shared that even after being married to her for nearly 2 decades, he lives in a rented house in the national capital. He said that although he helped Mary start and register the boxing academy, someone else was made its chairman. And Onler did not stop there. Reacting to her claims that she alone took care of children, Onler added that while she was the primary earner, he was the one taking care of the kids. And his explosive lot of allegations aside, Mary Kom's unmatched sporting legacy remains intact. But this episode ensures her public narrative now includes resilience beyond the ring, altering how future generations contextualize her journey. An astronaut in need of doctor's care departed the International Space Station the ISS with 3 crewmates on Wednesday in NASA's first medical evacuation. The 4 returning astronauts from the United States, Russia and Japan aimed for an early Thursday morning splashdown in the Pacific near the San Diego with SpaceX. Let's tune in to a visual.
Splashdown of Crew 11. After 167 days in space, Dragon and NASA astronauts Zena Cardman and Mike Fink, Kimya Yui of JAXA, and Roscosmos cosmonaut Oleg Platonov are back on Earth. Splashdown of Crew 11. After 167 days in space, Dragon and NASA astronauts Zena Cardman and Mike Fink, Kimya Yui of JAXA, and Roscosmos cosmonaut Oleg Platonov are back on Earth.
The decision cut short their mission by over a month. Officials refused to identify the astronaut who needed care last week and would not divulge into the health concern. And as far as for the ailing astronaut, the astronaut's stable, safe and well cared for, outgoing space station commander Mike said earlier this week via social media. Launched in August, Cardman, Japan's and Russia's astronauts should have remained on space station until late February, but on Jan 7, NASA abruptly cancelled the next day's spacewalk by Cardman and Finkel and later announced the crew's early return. Officials said that the health problem was unrelated to spacewalk preparations or other station operations, but offered no other details, citing medical privacy. They stressed it was not emergency station. NASA also said it would stick to the same entry and splashdown procedures at the flight's end. And ladies and gentlemen, joining us live is author and scientist and innovation policy expert Dr. Shrijanpal Singh on the broadcast. Shrijanpal Singh, what do you think could have been the possible reasons because of which the astronaut had suffered ill health? The mission, of course, had to be cut short on that note.
Yeah, so as we all know now that space is a very hostile territory. It's not easy to be an astronaut, and especially on such a long mission. This is almost a 6-month mission designed, and it was cut short by a month. So still 5 months in space is a lot. Now, what all can happen? From head to toe, things can go wrong. Things can affect body negatively. There's a psychological impact, and let's go through that entire list. So beginning with the head, the first thing which happens is that when you're on Earth, the gravity pulls the blood downwards. But once you go in a space station and there's a microgravity, your heart keeps pumping at the same pace. So what happens is that the head tends to get more blood than what would happen on the surface of the Earth, which puffs up the head. And for someone who has a problem of, say, a migraine or something, this can be quite painful. The similar thing happened to the feet. The feet becomes thinner, so there's something which is called puffy head and bird leg syndrome. The leg becomes very thin and the head becomes puffy. So that's the head part of it. The heart also has a lot of tremendous stress because of the changed gravity. The heart tends to become 10% more spherical. The shape of the heart changes. So that's another big issue. Somebody who has a chronic bone issue or something like that will also suffer very badly because every month you spend in space, you lose about 1% of your bone mass. So somebody who does not have strong skeletal structure, someone whose bones are relatively weaker would really suffer badly. Also what happens is the psychological impact is tremendous because you are going through 16 sunrises and sunsets every Earth day. The psychological impact of going through that day and night every 90 minutes is quite complicated, and it does have an effect on someone's psychological issues. The other thing is the spine. The spine goes through an elongation because of the lack of gravity. The spine would typically elongate by a few percentage, 2-3% spine elongation would happen, which also can be painful. And above all of that, what happens is that it's a hostile environment. You're alone only with a few people who are around you. The Earth is right there, but you are far away from your family and friends and everybody else. And in the space station, you are exposed to tremendous amounts of radiation. So typically an astronaut who goes on a 5-month or a 6-month mission is exposed to as many X-rays in the range of 500 to 1,000 X-rays over a cycle of 5 months, which is somebody who's sensitive to radiation could feel not so good. Now, in this case, the astronauts who have come back, if you look at their record, one of them is quite experienced. He's done 4 trips. There are 2 astronauts out of these 4 who are on their first trip, and the last astronaut is on the second trip. So 1, 2, and 4. Those are are the mission counts of these astronauts. So relatively new crew, and hence some problems they may have been experienced for the first time, and it's a long trip. Things go wrong. However, what is silver lining is that NASA has said that this is not an emergency evacuation. Somebody might be developing troubles, and in space you don't take chances. Just like we saw with Sunita Williams, where we made sure that she stays there, and we sent a new mission, a new rocket to bring her back, because you don't take chances in space. So that's the story of it. Of course, the name is not there. We don't know what exactly went wrong, but there are many reasons why somebody might feel sick in space and would go to the extent of being evacuated.
Srijan, thank you very much for that detailed overview on what possibly could have gone wrong up there in space, because of which the mission had to cut short. Remember, this is a first in the ISS history that something like this has been happening. Thank you, Srijan, on that note. Viewers, we move on to the other story that we are tracking. Here is our next story that's trending again. World number 3 and 4-time world medalist Andres Antonsen of the Denmark. He's a Denmark shuttler. He's made waves on the internet as he revealed that Delhi's extreme pollution level was the reason that he had skipped India Open Super 750 badminton event for the 3rd consecutive year. And that's not all. He also took to Instagram to further reveal that he who withdrew from the event prior to the draws being made also revealed that due to his withdrawal, the world governing body has punished him with a fine of USD 5,000. Now, Antonsen last played the India Open in 2023, where he lost the second round. And what's saddening for the Indian sports fraternity and management is that he isn't the only sports person who voiced an opinion. Danish shuttler voiced a similar sentiment after winning her match. She, in fact, urged the Badminton World Federation to take cognizance of such issues prior to the matches, raising questions about the relevant authorities in India. It is worth noting that she had made similar allegations about the India Open last year too, blaming the dense smog in India and bird droppings inside the stadium for the illness she suffered after the event. And since yesterday, visuals have risen of truly sorry state of affairs of our stadium. From inside the KD Jadhav Stadium that we will show in a screen from some moments from now, a monkey has been spotted roaming like a spectator in the galleries and even in the training hall. The state of affairs unhygienic and nothing short of outrageous. And meanwhile, the one who made the video, who's also an eyewitness to the monkey saga in the stadium, spoke to Republic. Here is what exactly she saw.
Just beside me, I was like surprised, and then they all just see, and then I was run away from the monkey, and the monkey going.
You sighted this monkey inside the stadium premises, not outside the stadium premises.
I'm sitting watching the events, and then the monkey just came and just sit beside me.
You are here as a visitor. You are from which country, ma'am?
I'm from Malaysia. Yeah, all the BWF tournaments, like more than 10 countries.
Based on the hygiene condition, how would you rate the event here in New Delhi? Since you have told me that you have witnessed it at multiple localities around the world, how would you rate it here in New Delhi?
Actually, the air pollution is the mess here. The 300 over index, right? That is the things that is bothering me. For the stadium itself, I think we can give like 5 per 10.
All right, so that was the eyewitness. She is a citizen of Malaysia who said that she was sitting there at the stadium at the moment while she was while she was watching the training session that was going on, and that is exactly when she saw a monkey sitting beside her. Meanwhile, the BAI have now defended themselves, saying that conditions have improved. Sanjay Mishra of the BAI also spoke to the media, saying that there's nothing wrong that's happening in the stadium. Here's the defense.
मैं ये भी नहीं बोल सकता हूँ कि 100% वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप के लिए ये
इस तैयारी के बाद परफेक्ट था, लेकिन हमने इवेंट किया है इसलिए कि कुछ छोटी मोटी अगर कमियां हैं तो हम उसको वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप में ठीक करेंगे। और ऑफ कोर्स वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप में आपको एक सब कुछ बेहतरीन मिलेगा। जो मैंने बोला जैसे पिजन उड़ रहे थे, उसको हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं। ठंड है, ठंड नो डाउट है। उसके लिए जब हमको मालूम चला तो हमने हीटर्स लगा दिए हैं। शाम को हम और हीटर्स बढ़ा रहे हैं। तो और जहाँ तक वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप की बात है, अगस्त में है, तो उस समय ठंड वाला प्रॉब्लम नहीं रहेगा।
All right, joining us live on the broadcast is sports journalist Joseph Hoover. Joseph, thank you very much for speaking to Republic. Certainly a very sad state of affairs, sorry state of affairs that we're seeing in stadiums in the national capital. It is supposed to be an international match where international players come to India, and that is how we are portraying ourselves. Something as basic as hygiene, something as basic as security, that is being compromised upon, and it puts India, of course, in the bad light, and especially the national capital, where the tournament is going to be played in the month of August.
I mean, it's very embarrassing. I mean, when an event of this stature is being hosted, it's the responsibility of the organizing committee to ensure everything is in good conditions. Be it hospitality, be it the condition of the courts, be it the hygiene, every aspect has to be looked in. And especially when another shuttler says this conditions have not improved since last year, that reflects very poorly of the Badminton Association of India. And Badminton Association of India has now brought disrepute to our country. It's pathetic. And somebody now talking about saying conditions are improving. What were they doing? They should have ensured every condition was pakka. When some international shuttlers are saying this is in such a poor state and they don't want to train in this stadium, you can well imagine what kind of message are we sending. We are a country which is aspiring to hold the 2036 Olympic Games. And we take all the credit when our athletes do well. Our Prime Minister hugs them, treats them with all the goodies. And this is what we give them. This is all we reflect India to be in. This is the condition we play badminton, international badminton. I mean, this is pathetic. There has to be some responsibility, and whoever is responsible for this should be sacked immediately.
Absolutely,
there are no two ways about that. Absolutely. If somebody is saying this condition has been as bad as this even last year, then what was the Badminton Association doing? And this is a premier event. This is a premier world event. So when you have such a big event, it's your responsibility to ensure everything is in good condition. Every aspect has to be looked in. When they're saying even for training, they're wearing other gear to protect infections, they're worried about their health. That really shows us in a bad state. And
Absolutely,
one of them
sir.
withdraws, an international shuttler withdrawing from a tournament, so talking about pollution. And what are we doing about it?
Right, sir.
What happens is these kind of things happen in the district level, state tournaments or the national events. And our shuttlers or whatever sportsmen, they don't make a noise because they have no other option. The moment they talk about it, they are targeted. So they keep quiet. Even today, if Sindhu has said that things are okay, but when other athletes are saying, international athletes and shuttlers are saying this is not what it should be, that's sad. It's very sad.
Absolutely,
I would
sir.
want our Prime Minister to get directly involved in this because their sports minister, he can't even spell out Mohan Bagan. He says Mogan Bagan. And these kind of people rule sports in our country. They run sports. And why wouldn't BAI do whatever it wants to do? Nobody is accountable in this country. It's pathetic.
Right, so absolutely.
You cannot go on like this.
Hoping that the administration looks into the case because this is not just about Delhi. It is about putting India out there in the international platform and showcasing ourselves as a host. And the federation must take people who are responsible for this into account. Thank you very much, Joseph, for speaking to Republic and sharing your opinion on that. And ladies and gentlemen, moving on, like every year, Akshay Kumar was one of the few Mumbai celebrities parties who showed up to cast his vote in the BMC elections that was held today, early morning. In a viral video, a young girl approached Akshay Kumar for financial help, revealing that her father was debt-ridden and he was nothing short of helpful and gracious as ever. He obliged the female fan and directed her to his team. When she tried to touch his feet, he stopped her and got her into the car. The video prompted applause from the internet. Watch this.
मैडम रुक आजा आजा मैडम रुक जाओ मैडम मैडम रुक जाओ मैडम रुक जाओ अभी नहीं मैडम ये बात नहीं अभी बाद में ऑफिस में मैं देता हूँ सिंपल सा बेटा ऐसा मत कर आजा आजा मैडम रुक जाओ मैडम रुक जाओ अभी नहीं मैडम ये बात नहीं अभी बाद में ऑफिस में मैं देता हूँ सिंपल सा बेटा ऐसा मत कर
And ladies and gentlemen, as we end this show tonight, we offer you a glimpse into the Army Day Parade celebrations in Jaipur, more particularly during Operation Sindhu, how the Indian Armed Forces created history with their indomitable courage, valor and unwavering resolve. Watch this inspiring saga of bravery through the short film screened at the Army Day Parade in Jaipur as I bid you goodbye.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा राजा और प्योर मसाला।
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी चाहे जो भी हो।
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
अरे टेंशन किस बात की? सेंचुरी प्रोवुड का प्रीमियम प्लस है ना, लो एमिशन है, हाई डेंसिटी है, वाटर रेजिस्टेंट भी, टर्माइट एंड बोरो रेजिस्टेंट भी है। यानी ये है जहाँ नो टेंशन वहाँ।
प्रीमियम प्लस बाय सेंचुरी प्रोवुड।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. And they won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So, I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over.
अरे टेंशन किस बात की? सेंचुरी प्रोवुड का प्रीमियम प्लस है ना, लो एमिशन है, हाई डेंसिटी है, वाटर रेजिस्टेंट भी, टर्माइट एंड बोरो रेजिस्टेंट भी है। यानी ये है जहां नो टेंशन वहां।
प्रीमियम प्लस बाय सेंचुरी प्रोवुड।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी, चाहे जो भी हो।
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before.
MNS और शिवसेना के वोट्स
वोट्स ही नहीं बचे ना।
उद्धव सेना के
वोट्स कहाँ बचे? जब वोट्स थे 2009 में, तब साथ में आते तो महाराष्ट्र की पॉलिटिक्स अलग होती। अब इनके पास वोट नहीं बचे, और आप इस चुनाव के बाद देख लीजिए, राज ठाकरे जी will be the biggest loser in this coalition, biggest loser.
एकनाथ शिंदे जी डर गए हैं राज ठाकरे और उद्धव ठाकरे के साथ में आने।
अभी वो कहते हैं कि मराठी खतरे में है, मराठी मानुस खतरे में। वो खतरे में मराठी मानुस नहीं है या मुंबई नहीं है, उनका खुद का अस्तित्व खतरे में आया है, इसलिए डर गए वो।
साथ में यहाँ पे महायुति में हैं और साथ में सामने इस तरह से बयानबाजी होती है, फिर मिलते हैं, जनता बड़ा कंफ्यूज है।
बिल्कुल नहीं, आप सोचते हैं वैसा जनता कंफ्यूज होती है। जनता हमारे से ज़्यादा होशियार है, वो बिल्कुल कंफ्यूज नहीं।
Hi, I'm Rishi Jain speaking at the Republic AI Summit 2026. Students across India are already using AI to learn, build and earn. I'll share what's working, what's missing and how ready India truly is for an AI first future. Join me along with other leading AI experts as we crack India's AI code live on Republic TV.
Did it make you conscious to sing English for a Bollywood audience? I mean, that's the strangest combination one can have, right?
It was a preconceived idea that Usha Uttup ये क्या हिंदी गाना गाएगी, ये तो अंग्रेजी गाना ही गाती है. So they felt that it was necessary to have at least one line or two lines in English, okay? And the funny thing is now in today's world, every song has got yo baby, kiss me baby, hold me, yeah, you know, all that stuff. So I did it long time ago, ladies and gentlemen, and it was all because of you, yo bro.
Let me put you through a stress test. If I ask you, why is it necessary to end Maoist terrorism in India?
Here's the thing, Arnab. Maoist violence must end because it kills three things at once: people, development, and democracy.
My first 3 salary checks, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000. You owed me 12,000 rupees.
That's
fantastic. For all the drunkards in the
you.
Telegraph, you took me to every place saying, I'm going to meet you. I've never met you.
Such a tearjerker.
You know, everywhere.
I must be his biggest fan when there's a huge big fight going on. And of course, he's the cause of it all. So I get so worried sitting in Baliganj place in Calcutta. I quickly phone up and I say, don't shout your mouth off all the time. You're precious. India loves you. And now the whole world is saying it, not just one person.
These days, some people last 1 week don't love me.
They don't love you.
All the love is gone.
Hi all, this is Rishi Seth and I am excited to join Republic AI Summit 2026. This is an excellent platform where industry leaders will come together to share their thoughts, experience and expertise on how they are shaping India's AI future and helping to crack the India's AI code. To ensure that you watch it all unfold only on Republic TV. Looking forward to all the interactions.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Goswami on the debate.
On the show tonight, the reality check of the condition of sports infrastructure in India. We want to host the Commonwealth Games. We want to host the Olympic Games. But just look at the absolute mess on the sidelines of the Badminton India Open tournament. At 8:30 p.m. tonight, why is the DGCA trying to question the brother of the pilot of the Air India plane that crashed? And at 9 o'clock tonight, Mamta gets slammed in the Supreme Court. WhatsApp chats show proof of anarchy in Bengal. But is there an attempt at institutionalizing anarchy in this country? Ladies and gentlemen, time to show the mirror once again. We say we want to hold the Olympics in India. Great, fantastic, big statement, lovely, must be lots of publicity. We say we are going to host the Commonwealth Games in India. Terrible idea, first of all. Terrible idea, because the Commonwealth itself as an idea is redundant. So I don't know why one would want to host the Commonwealth Games in India. I'm not for it. But even before we think or dream of hosting these tournaments, have a look at the visuals, ladies and gentlemen, on the sidelines of the 2026 India Open Badminton Tournament in New Delhi. This is it. We'll show these pictures to you full frame. And these are visuals that have been put up by players. This is just months ahead of the World Badminton Championships to be held at the same venue in August. Monkeys are roaming around in the K.D. Jadhav Stadium in Delhi. And players from other countries, foreign countries, are showing these pictures and laughing about it. Yes, we are making a laughing stock of ourselves. Where is the sports minister? Why does the Union Sports Minister not talk about it? Where is the Badminton Association of India? Ladies and gentlemen, when players talk about it, we'll have to show the reality. This is the reality inside the stadium where a global tournament is being held. Look at the piles and piles and piles of absolute dirt and garbage. Top-seeded players across the world are saying, we don't want to play here, it's too dirty. This is not the way any country hosts a global tournament. It's very dirty, it's very unhealthy for all the players. And they're saying this is not the way any global player. And of course, stray dogs. What can we do in India without stray dogs? You know, Maneka Gandhi would love to help them around. They're just stray dogs, garbage, dirt and monkeys. What is this? Is this a zoo or a venue of a global tournament? Ladies and gentlemen, it's all good to do, great marketing around things. But this is the reality. There are people who are pulled out of the India Open, and some people are saying, of course, it's because of extreme pollution. But people are also talking about the circumstances, and then the Badminton Association is saying, don't worry, we are putting heaters. If it's too cold, we are putting heaters inside. And this is not the only place and only time. The fact of the matter is, recently on the outskirts of Delhi, there was a cricket tournament. I think the Afghan team was here. They were complaining about the condition inside the stadium. In some places, the match had to be stopped because of pigeon poop. This happened today. Pigeon poop is being cleaned. Monkeys are roaming around. Stray dogs are inside the stadium. And there is tons of garbage all around the stadium. And we in India are hosting an international tournament. Well done to all the organizers. Where is the sports minister, I ask again? Are these the guidelines to be followed? Is this the picture of India that we want to provide? And then we're going to be over defensive about it and say, no, you see, these players are bad people. Ladies and gentlemen, the focus they are putting out is on pollution, because that's the way the sports organizers can get away from it. But I have the social media post of world number 20 women's singles player, Mia Blichfeld. And this is what she writes. Finally home after a long and stressful week in India. It's 2 years in a row now that I get sick during the India Open. It's really hard to accept that many weeks of work and preparation gets wasted because of bad conditions. It's not fair to anyone that we have to train and play in smog, birds shitting on the courts, I might as well say it, I mean there's no point being extra polite with this language, and dirt everywhere. These conditions are so unhealthy and so unacceptable. This is what is being said. We cannot become Viksit Bharat if this is what we do, if this is what we present. And the fact of the matter is not a single head will roll. What we'll say is these foreign players have too many expectations. Ladies and gentlemen, I would say, let us not even think of hosting the Olympics unless we get our act together on things like this. Fact of the matter is, you have the BCCI, which has a lot of money, and the IPL, which has a lot of money. They organize their own IPL tournament, cricket tournament. They make money on the sidelines. This is the condition which we leave for the world to see about the facilities that we have. There is no wake-up call. The sports minister will not be pulled up. I'm sure tomorrow there will be this whole, there will be a whole social media post around, oh, Arnab is criticizing the government again. Arnab is criticizing the ruling party again. It's absolutely rubbish, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the same man. I am the same man who exposed the Commonwealth Games scam. I know we have the money. But I think somewhere we just do not care. And we want to cover all this up by saying there must be reasons why Republic is questioning things like this. I'm only questioning a little bit more aggressively than others. I'm surprised the others are not. I'm opening the phone lines tonight. If this is what has happened, heads must roll. Let's debate.
This is a visual from inside the KD Jadhav Stadium in the national capital. A monkey was spotted roaming the spectator galleries and even the training hall.
Yesterday we have a monkey just beside me. I was like surprised. And then they all just see, and then I was run away from the monkey, and the monkey. Actually, the air pollution is the mess here. The 300 over index, right? That is the things that is bothering me.
After pigeon droppings complaints, now wild animals inside a top international arena. A visual from outside the stadium showing unhygienic conditions. World number 3 Anders Antonsen skipped the tournament for a third straight year. The reason being extreme air pollution hitting severe levels in the category of 300 to 400. Another Denmark shuttler called the venue unhealthy and unprofessional, dirty courts, birds dropping wastes, inadequate conditions. Organizers call it unfortunate and blame an open door. But players are asking, is this really fit for elite sports? Especially when Delhi is slated for the BWF World Championships in August. Is this an international embarrassment for New Delhi?
I have with me Ashwini Nachappa. She's a legendary athlete in our country. Chandrasekhar Luthra is with us, senior sports journalist. We have Nikhil Paramjit Sharma, sports commentator and founder, CEOs, Light Sports Management, and Raman Malik of the BJP. I'll tell you a story. If you go to the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium nowadays, Ashwini, it is known more for being a wedding venue than for being a sports venue. They've got this big thing called Zohra. It's become some kind, I don't know if it's a nightclub or wedding venue. Lots of money, lots of wine, booze, parties, all these things happen. Receptions happen, shadi happens, sangeet happens, roka ceremonies happen, individual parties happen. People celebrate their anniversaries in Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium and they feel very proud that I bought the whole stadium. So a lot of money must be getting made. But this is what we've done, and lines are open tonight. This is what, it's not due to AQI. Our grids are wrong. You see, we want to put this AQI grid out there, Niranjan, and that's the mistake we make. We blame the pollution. It's not because of the pollution, it's because of the state of these stadiums. Please write your news grids correctly. Ashwini Nachappa, monkeys, stray dogs, garbage. And we are dreaming of hosting the Olympics. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely embarrassing, but not surprised. This has been, the reality, and it's been there from the time I've been competing also. Terrible toilets, bad conditions.
Sure the grids can be written better.
And it has been almost 3.5 decades since I've retired, and to see such visuals is absolutely shameful. I am ashamed to be an athlete, to say the least. So I can imagine what bothers me as we are hosting this in the capital city.
Yeah.
And where is Swachh Bharat?
Yeah.
Where is
Swachh Bharat?
These are things, the tournaments are planned, the calendar is out months earlier, and there is no preparation. I mean, don't you know what needs to be done to hold an international event? Our athletes are traveling all over the world. Officials are traveling all over the world. So the basic hygiene and cleanliness is the least that we can give. So it's absolutely appalling.
Well, Prime Minister keeps talking about, doing so much for sports, but I think Prime Minister should pull up the Sports Minister, Badminton Association and everyone, and I think we should fix this immediately. Heads should roll, I believe, Nikhil, because people get away doing this kind of stuff. I'm sure there's a big budget for hosting this.
No, absolutely, Arnab. I think, we've got to look at it from a holistic point of view. I think hosting it in Delhi is wrong in itself. Just because of the temperature, the AQI, you've had sports ministry, issuing a guideline saying that don't play sport in Delhi. Why are we hosting an international tournament then in that case? As far as the two, stadiums are concerned, both KD Jadhav, there should be centralized ACs there, because for badminton, you require a certain amount of temperature, which is 18 to 24 degrees. The tournament in itself, if you look at the grade 1 and grade 2 of tournaments in badminton, leave the grade 1, which is the World Cup, the World Championships, Olympics, the Sudiram, the Uber Cup. But, a Super 750 event, there are about only 6 of them and 4 Super 1000. So you're actually looking at a tournament which is top 10 in the world. And to then host it in Delhi in conditions wherein you don't have centralized air conditioning in KD Jadhav, which is essentially where everybody is training. And if you have top players coming and saying that the AQI is not good, there are monkeys there in both the stadiums for that matter, not just in KD Jadhav, but also in Indira Gandhi as well. So it is. I think it's a huge problem as far as the organization is concerned. In my view, I think Delhi is the wrong choice as far as this tournament is concerned. But of course, because the BWF championships are coming to India next year, so it's a test event. You have to host this event here just to check if, BWF wants to check whether
I'm sure there are better
is the right
that
place.
can also be done.
If you ask me, after all of this, they won't be very happy with it. If they are, I'd be surprised. Arnab?
Live instructions going on to the production team out here that I think there should be better visuals. There are many visuals. I think our lines, Niranjan, can be stronger than wake up call. I don't want these candy floss lines on my program at least. Please remove the candy floss lines from my program. Let's talk directly, right? Can I be introduced to the new guest who has come in right now? That's Ranjit Bajaj. Hi, Ranjit.
How are you, Arnab?
Wasn't told, founder of Minerva Academy. I'm told you support the government. Why? I think sports minister should be sacked.
Not the government. I support us.
Us
being
as
unquestioned in the sports world. We need to have excellence in everything we do. So the blame, I think, first needs to start from the Badminton Federation of India. I'm not saying I support the government. I am totally against the Badminton Federation of India for allowing this event to happen in a place where you can't even breathe, where you're not allowing your
So
own...
why are you talking about pollution? You're trying to distract attention. I know what you do. You'll put the focus on AQI. I'm talking about the monkeys. I'm talking about the infrastructure. I'm talking about the garbage.
I'm talking about bird poop. I'm talking about garbage. I'm talking about each and everything. See, Arnab, when an international event is given, the takeover does not happen 2 days before. The takeover of the stadium happens at least 14 days before. If the Badminton Federation of India has not taken over and made
I'm against hosting the CWG, so I don't know who's written the lines can host CWG. Make it global tournaments. I'm not for hosting the CWG. I'm against hosting the CWG because I think it's a waste of money to be doing anything for the Commonwealth, which is in effect, the Commonwealth is a dead organization. I don't know why we want to host the games for an organization which is, in honor of King Charles. I don't believe in the concept of a Commonwealth. I'm a citizen of a free country. Yeah. True. Anyway, that is on an aside. Please. Thank you. Yes, Ranjit?
Very true. I totally agree with you. It's actually in honor of slavery. So all the countries they made slaves, they want to be now having a Commonwealth Games for that.
We shouldn't.
Game. I totally agree with you there, Arnab. And it's totally, I think it should, at this day and age, it should be banned because it's a racist games. The beginning of the games is all meant from all
Correct,
the
but
countries.
now what do we do? We're in a mess. The whole world is laughing at us because of this situation with what we've done with this badminton stadiums,
We need to learn our lessons. We just don't need to say it's not the BJP. In the Congress, it wasn't better. In the Aam Aadmi Party, it wasn't better. It just does not get better because people don't understand what excellence is. Excellence is that you strive for perfection every single day. You won't get to excellence, but you might get there somewhere near. The images you're showing us, nobody would want to come here.
No. Now Rakshita has gone inside the stadium. They know that Republic is gone inside. So we've gone inside. Now they're cleaning the stadium. Now this is what I have to do, Ashwini. I'm going to have to force people to clean the stadium. I don't know where Mansukh Mandavia is. I don't know where the sports minister is. I don't know where they are. Now they're cleaning the stadium. Good for them. But shame on them for what they've done so far. Shame on these guys. Now they're cleaning the stadium after all the bad publicity we got. Ashwini.
Arnab, the sad thing in this country is no star walls or the stars of any sport want to come out and talk about it. And that has been the problem.
No, they don't want to. They don't want to.
You've heard what they said the last few days. It's natural that some of the, events get postponed or get delayed. Those are things that all athletes go through sometimes. But then this kind of unhygienic conditions.
Now they're cleaning the pan stains. Can you see that, Chandrasekhar? They're cleaning the pan stains because the Republic has sent its cameras there.
Arnab, the simple thing is we should not be diverting the attention from what has happened actually, what has brought us shame. You have to understand the system, who cleans it. You are talking about sports minister, he can't even spell or he can't even, say Mohan Bangan or East Bangan, whatever. These kind of sports ministers are there for India. Anyway, let that out. But point is, who maintains this stadium? It is Sports Authority of India. And I have been watching, I have been covering, I have been dealing with Sports Authority for almost Ashwini. When Ashwini was retiring, I was becoming the sports guy. So from that time, I have seen the system, how rotten it has become. These stadiums are under the control of Sports Authority of India, which is again getting money from government or the sports minister, which you are rightly saying should be accountable. So what they do is, instead of putting their own man, they gave it to the contractors. So whatever the stadiums are being maintained, suppose in this particular stadium, if you go on the payroll, there will be 30, 40 people who will be maintaining.
What are you doing?
Listen to me. And all these 30, 40 people would be working in the SAI officials' houses. They will be doing the dirty jobs there in the houses. They are not supposed to maintain this. They are supposed to keep these fellows happy. And that's how this contractor gets the contract again and again every time. So
now
that's
the foreign players are saying, well done, na, Raman. Now you'll defend the government on this one also. The foreign players are saying, in India, animals are given free permission to the stadiums. Translated from Korean. Korean players are saying this. Huh?
See, Arnab, one thing which is very clear is...
No, why? Why are you doing this?
Are you able, am I clear?
Pigeon poop, monkeys, stray dogs, garbage. No. Is there no feeling that we have to not let the image of our country go down?
We have a very good society in India who doesn't want to work. SAI people who are there to work do not work.
Who is SAI reporting to?
The central government. Central government is only funding this organization. So your question diverted toward Mansukh Mandavia is wrong. It should be directed towards the director in charge of the SAI. Also, one must also not forget the Honorable Supreme Court. When it came heavy on the stray dog, suddenly there was a lobby under pressure of which the Supreme Court had to bow down. Now,
you think we are fit to host the Olympics?
What is the problem?
You think we are fit to host the Olympics?
People over on the job
you think we are fit to host the Olympics?
We will have to force and become fit to host the Olympics.
Come on.
There's no other option.
No.
Because of incompetency of a few.
Ranjit has his hand up. Ranjit, what do you think? Come into the debate,
India should not suffer.
In the country.
See, every time the Prime Minister has to come forward and get the toilets made, has to get the cleanliness drive, Swachh Bharat, Prime Minister has to done, toilets,
and there is a sports minister.
Has to get it made.
Ranjit, come in. Ranjit.
Do not do pollute, he has to do. Everything the Prime Minister has to do.
No.
The central government has to. What do people have to do?
Ranjit.
Sit down at home and cry.
Ranjit, your audio is not good, man.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, louder. Yeah, go on. He's speaking on the other side. You know to put him on the left-hand side. Thank you. Yeah. No, he's not. Thank you. Yeah. Ranjit.
Heading the federations right now, like, for example, the Football Federation, who can't even start the football season right now, who actually happens to be a BJP person, was the secretary who was fighting with PT Usha and then biting each other and making a...
Man, come on. This is enough.
Kalyan Chaubey...
A person heading an organization does not become BJP.
Your audio is too bad. Too bad. I have to fix your audio as well. Ashwini, please come in. Don't be quiet on this. Lines are open. Rishi is calling in from Kolkata. We're a mess. Let me tell you, we're a mess. I'm ashamed of what's gone on.
Just because politically he's with BJP does not mean that his individual efforts or endeavors into sports federation should be connected to BJP.
Who's in power in India? Who's in power in India?
He's in the sports federation because he's with the BJP. You cannot de-link both of those, unfortunately.
You have to... A person can be a political activist, a person can be a political commentator, a person can be a political
I was told there's
person.
Lakshita
but at the same time, he may have a sports utility or another social organization that he may be
Okay, now let me hear from Ashwini, you know. Well, don't... anyway, I think we'll have to run 2-3 sets of visuals together. The garbage, the monkeys, the everything. And now Rakshita is there. We can run the visuals as well. Rakshita, what's happening there now? How bad is the situation? Which stadium are you at?
Well, this is the Indira Gandhi Sports Complex, and the KD Jadhav complex is, of course, part of it. It is just adjacent to where the matches are happening. So matches are happening at Indira Gandhi Stadium, indoor stadium, and KD Jadhav is mostly for training, where problems have been encountered by the players. We were just trying to go towards KD Jadhav. Of course, everything would be shut right now. Nobody is training right now there at this hour. But yes, there were, the moment we entered, we saw that there was a lot of cleaning that was done almost all corners, even to the routes that were leading up to the media center, and where of course the sports arena is there, where the matches are happening. So yes, there was aggressively mopping and everything was happening. Suddenly people were mobilized, and of course we were not even being allowed to take take our mobile phones out to clip somewhere, try and record them. They were very cautious. Those who were the organizers, the representatives, the volunteers were very cautious, and they were keeping an eye on us. And we still tried to somehow show, because we want to show the reality to our viewers. And having said that, now we just got we got the, we now have the official statement from the Badminton World Federation that admits, if you just read it, they're trying to, strike a balance between the conditions here and the efforts of the BAI, that is the Badminton Association of India. But at the same time, they say that we acknowledge the comments shared by players and the subsequent media coverage. The World Federation also says that there have been challenges this week. The temperature inside, the cold weather, air quality has posed challenges. However, they've also talked about some areas of implementation that includes general cleanliness and hygiene plus animal control have required attention. That is what they say. This is the Badminton World Federation saying that these are the matters. So they are admitting that there are issues that have taken place. Of course, they are not being very hard, when it comes to this.
Yeah, but I think, Rakshita, I'm just opening lines. Stay right there. I'm told Himanta Biswa Sharma is the head of the Badminton Association. Is that correct? Now, if he's head of the Badminton, he's too busy fighting the Assam elections. Then you got to have somebody else there as Badminton Association president. You can't. Himanta Biswa Sharma will not have the time now. Either he has to pull up someone, sack the other guy, or let someone else do that job. Rishi is calling from Kolkata. Rishi, this is so bad, right? This is so bad.
Definitely, Arnab, this is very bad. I really admire the BJP for the good things they have done since 2014. However, time has come for good governance. To question the government to bring strictest of laws and punishment. Because by and large, India is not a country who takes pride in civic sense. We need to publicly shame these people and also fine them. In 2014, our Prime Minister had laid a vision that by 2019, our temples, churches, and every nook and corner of the country should be clean. But this will not come with a mindset. This will come with punishment and publicly shaming. And there is lack of coordination between the departments. There is lack of monitoring. So if these things are not fixed, then there is no difference between BJP and Congress. BJP has to set a platform, has to set it firm that become a role model so that our vision for 2047 can be fulfilled. And
well, I'll take the next caller tonight. See, I'll tell you. We should never become self-congratulatory. All I'd say, Rishi. Ravi is calling from Ahmedabad. Ravi.
Yeah, no, first of all, thank you to you and your team for bringing it into the limelight. And this is our national duty, as our earlier caller said. Our vision of 1947 is something we all have to fulfill. So why to even defend also these things? I think we all should work towards it. I am surprised that the people are defending it. If we want to become a developed nation in 2047, how will we achieve it? These are the bare minimum things. Take the example of metro. There we are doing nicely. Why can't we do it here when our PM, he himself can clean the roads? As an example, why are we shying away from it?
See, the question in India is no longer about what happens at the very top. It is about what happens below. If there is no corruption at the very top, it does not help. There has to be no corruption below. If the Aam Aadmi is still facing corruption, we have a problem. Ashwini, you're watching this tonight. Clearly, people think strongly about it. But I'm surprised last 24 hours, no reaction from the sports minister. No reaction from the head of the Badminton Association of India.
When you go through all this, all these infrastructures, as somebody rightly put, comes under the Sports Authority of India. And they are directly under the MYAS. So everybody is accountable. Everybody is accountable. It is not just the Delhi infrastructure. You come and see centers, whether it's in the state,
pictures of
whether
the
it is
tournament.
in every